qualifications so the public understands some of the documentation that's in that requirement?
So we originally came back to the board, must have been February, this point, started talking about the North Central Pathway Connector, called the Nature Trail, goes from Crystal Lake Drive around to the former railroad on the north side of the National Grid substation. You know, we worked with this commission for 3 hearings. Obviously, we're going by the reservoir, we're going by vernal pools, protected areas. So, you know, this commission did its job and we made sure we made some changes. We added some fencing predominantly to restrict access to the reservoir. We did a lot to document a lot of the decision we made because we hadn't really brought that initially. So, you know, so that the commission was justified in their decision-making process. If you recall, Mass DEP's comment letter didn't come until right before the 3rd hearing. One of Mass DEP's comments was about the stormwater, the approach to stormwater management on the project. They basically said, you haven't done enough for stormwater management. We put back justification for the approach we've taken. We had that before the 3rd hearing here. We can move forward with the order. We're justified in doing that, you know, for the record. On the last day of the appeal period of the order of conditions, Mass DEP notified Trevor and Doug that they were officially intervening in the project and appealing the order of conditions granted by this board. And they were doing that on the grounds of stormwater management. So I haven't been through the appeal process before. So it was riveting, right, Trevor? We got a letter of intervention. That letter didn't really detail it, simply said, you haven't managed stormwater to the standard, you haven't met the performance standards. An email started shortly thereafter, which is part of their record, including Doug as the agent, Trevor as the owner, myself as the rep, and 3D section chief Judy Schmitz, senior analyst Kim Roth, and Becky Gendro was also an analyst. The plan was to have a virtual call. We had a 45-minute virtual call with them to dig into what the concern was. And that was followed by a site walk with them where we met on site. Colonel was there. And that was like 2.5 hours or, yeah. And I guess I'll point out that, you know, the stated concern was stormwater. We got into many other things that day, you know, which
I heard, yeah.
Frankly, I think is beyond their jurisdiction when they state that their concern is stormwater, but I'll show you the changes that resulted from that. So we met with them and then we had 2 options. One was dig our heels in and fight them because we felt that our project was adequate as it was, or propose some changes. They would do an informal review. If they felt we met their concerns at that point, we could come back and ask for an amendment. You know, being a city project, being the group of regulators the city has to deal with all the time, that's obviously the preferred route. The other advantage of that route is it allows this board to issue another order, which allows you to keep your wetlands protection local bylaw in effect. If they go the superseding route, you know, locals out the door. So frankly, you lose protections, which, you know, the city wasn't going to do to itself in the first place.
Right.
So essentially, last week we sent them a series of proposed changes. It was a revised draft stormwater report and a set of drawings with some changes on them. They indicated that if this body moved forward with an amendment incorporating that documentation, they won't be inclined to rescind their appeal. And so here we are. So that's how we got from order conditions to me standing here in front of you talking about the project for a 4th time. And then what I can do is kind of run through those proposed changes and then obviously, you know, discuss whatever we need to. So the resubmission, these things are never clean, but you'll appreciate the reference. I kind of treat this like a conformed, you know, contract doc. So I took the original notice of intent. I annotated very clearly in red in the table of contents which sections were either modified or replaced in total. You know, that primarily was the stormwater and the drawings. However, I also added a couple of appendices, one being the correspondence we had in our first 3 hearings, so it's actually found in the book now. The other being that I took the wetland replication plan we developed and gave it its own, you know, front and center spot in the back of the book. And there's a revised abutter list because we have to be notified.
Were there any changes on the abutters? New one?
Just one. I'll go to the drawings last. You will notice when I look at the drawings that we revision cloud, everything will change. I did that for two reasons. This project is already going down the procurement pathway, and so there'll be a little change with the selected contractor. So I didn't want to double my efforts there. But it just makes it easier for everybody to see what exactly changed from the original consideration until now. In terms of stormwater, so it's actually wasn't in this place, right? So our original stormwater memo report, we made two arguments principally. One, this is a pedestrian and bicycle footpath, so the standard only applies to the maximum extent practical. That's written right into the wetlands protection. Two, we said based on DEP appeal case law, if you're not creating a direct stormwater discharge in a resource area, virtually the standards don't even apply anymore. And so we said we're actually, we're extent practicable, but we actually don't even need to meet the standards. So one approach would have been just not give the stormwater report as part of the original application, and we would have felt justified doing that, but you don't make friends that way. Apparently we didn't make them this way either. The original memo, we still stepped through and said how we felt we were meeting each standard. So the biggest thing was that we are paving a 10-foot strip and there's no impervious out there now. So we were creating impervious surface in the parcel. And there is no de minimis in the actual regulations where you can say, oh, it's less than an acre or it's less than this, so it's nothing. But the argument was, if we introduce something like a stormwater basin or piping or whatever it is, whatever the best management practice was going to increase the overall footprint and just be more disturbance in these sensitive areas. So we ultimately decided to argue for doing nothing, quite frankly. And that's what DEP took exception to. I called it common sense, they called it lazy, and that was the point of contention. So one of the things we did in the revised stormwater report is we developed the backup calculations for what's called a low impact development credit. So in the stormwater regs, there are these LID credits. And credit number 3 is the disconnection of non-rooftop runoff credit, which is a wordy way of saying that if you're going to pave something that's not paved, you basically cannot create a flow path that's more than 75 feet long. Well, the way that we graded this whole site, everything's going to run right across the width of the path to 10 feet. So we're not creating any flow paths that are greater than 75 feet. Runoff can't come from a designated hotspot use. The length of the quote disconnection must be equal to or greater than the contributing length. The entire vegetative disconnection shall be on a slope less than or equal to 5%. Talk about that in a second. The surface impervious area to any one location cannot exceed 1,000 square feet. And there's a couple other things, and we did respond directly to these in the actual stormwater report. The only one that I have a star next to is that, when we come off Bristol Lake Drive, it's steep down to the reservoir. So I'm greater than 5% down there in my disconnection. But the two arguments we made were, one, our contributing area is well below the threshold, and two, our impervious length is well below the threshold. So therefore, looking for a little leniency on the disconnection. So the thing is, when you calculate out that LID credit, it virtually comes back and says that I don't have to mitigate for any of the impervious from either a recharge or a because you can deduct credited volume from the volume that you're looking at. So, the common sense approach, had I checked the LID checkbox and given me the calculation in the first place, in theory should have water. But given where we are in this process and given the commentary from DEP on the sidewalk, in addition to that, we've decided to add a 1 foot by 1 foot stone infiltration trench on the downgraded side of the path for the first 800 feet where we're near the reservoir. That in the report, it shows it calculates a volume. It's not a huge volume, but it calculates a volume basically saying our requirement was 0. But we're giving them 287 cubic feet or whatever the recharge volume was. We're doing that to directly satisfy. while I think it's in excess of what's required, it's not detrimental, right? The runoff flow is gonna come across the path, if it's carrying any sediment from the upgraded side, if it gets stuck there. You know, like if you're watching it physically during a rainstorm, it should flow across and, you know, disappear to the point where, you know, until it surcharges, if it's raining hard. It should provide some basically erosion control, no loss of dissipation, sediment capture, so it's not a bad thing. It's just an added expense to the project. This will be in the area directly adjacent to the path on that side and then before the chain link fence. So it'll be accessible for maintenance because it will need to be maintained periodically. We're proposing right now like a 3-inch stone. I can't go bigger because I don't have enough size, but I don't want to go smaller because I don't want stone all over the path. So try to get as big as we could while still being practical with that. I guess we can look at the plans real quick because the rest of the changes are kind of back and forth between the two. I'm just gonna look right at the first site plan sheet. So as I mentioned before, with the vision bubbles around everything we changed. And I'm gonna read them off and you can go back and study any of them closer to the commission.
Yeah, I have a list of stuff that but you're hitting them as you go, so.
You know, there was concern instantly about, potential, you know, dog waste being left. The city's got a pretty good precedent of having dog waste stations. We have the city standard detail. We're gonna add one of those right as you come on the path to encourage, you know, responsible dog ownership. We're adding stay on trail signs in addition to the water supply signs. So again, reinforcing, stay on the path, don't go off the path. On the down gradient side, the first 800 feet there along Crystal Lake, we're proposing trees and shrubs to be planted in there to kind of, there's some soft spots in the vegetation. So, you know, I'm calling them out generically here. The direction is to be field verified, and that would be with the project monitor. So, you know, we select these locations will be selected, you know, working with the commission and also working with Time Bond as the project monitor to make sure that they're addressing areas where there's softness in the vegetation, where there's gap in the canopy, things like that. There's a couple of footwork paths that go down off the current walking trail. DEP was concerned about those, so we added a note to grade and stabilize those areas. You know, that wouldn't be some kind of like massive earthwork, that'd be more like roughing it in. You know, I don't know if seeding really makes a lot of sense, but basically kind of not making it look like a footwork path anymore and getting, you know, getting something to stabilize and take hold. We talked about the stone trench. Irrigation lines out there, we were already saying to cut and cap them. We expanded the note to remove the disconnected sections. DEP was pushing the call for like a full removal, and I don't think they're in use. So we will remove what's disturbed and what's kind of needed. I think one of their big objections was, you know, there's a couple of posts with like sprinkler heads sitting on them. Just in your face when you're out there. So more trees and shrubs, stay on trails. Leaving. Oh, the commission will love this. So the wetland replication area has been moved. So it's actually back in the original spot. It's just a more appropriate shape and contour, much more similar to what was asked originally. So this replication got put behind the wetland before. The concern was access and causing more harm getting there. The concern was also the knotweed that's back there, you know, not allowing the replication to take hold. The removal or the control of the knotweed is still in the project. It hasn't come out. It's just that the replication is now coming up forward to a location, and we stood there with DEP and eyed it all up, and you know, it's a pretty appropriate location. Large. Separates revised cross section. And that was the gist of the thing. There is a weird note on here about the location of a flagged blueberry bush. So, Judy Schmitz, who's the section chief for Central Region, had her auger out there and she's augering around, and she, you know, her opinion was that the flag line didn't quite match, but she didn't want to go through the process of completely throwing things out and starting over. So we identified a bush that we took swing ties to, and she said, as long as your culvert ends prior to that bush, then, you know, they say no harm, no foul. So it is called out for everybody to know, but also from a construction standpoint, it's called out to say project monitor verified. If we've got to push that culvert, 10 feet or something, we will, to avoid, what she considered the wetland in her evaluation. That's the bulk of it. I'm sure there's some questions, and I'm happy to go through.
I got a bunch of questions, like 15, but I think you answered most of them. So I'm gonna just ask them again, just to reiterate, and some of them I'm gonna just like, Debbie answered it.
Yep.
Some of them are just more clerical. The NOI is dated May 24th. Should it change to match the date on page 10? I don't know. I'm asking. It's more of a, what's the right thing?
I play these games too. Frankly, nobody really knows because this doesn't happen all that often.
I know, that's why it was one of my questions.
So I gave you the original NOI back because technically I'm only asking for an amendment to the order conditions.
Okay,
So I changed some dates and I definitely put a new cover letter in there.
Yep.
I stuck with the original filing date.
I just didn't know, like you said, we've never had this either.
No.
And then David had mentioned that there were some notices about, we don't want any straw wattles or any straw. It's noted in there a couple times.
Compost tubes is what we're gonna use.
Yeah, it should definitely just make sure that's removed.
Yep.
Um,
I would say put it explicitly in the order too.
okay, but, okay. And then, this is more of a, just explain to the public and others that may be listening. So we have a loss of 80 square feet of, BVW, right?
Yes.
However, the replication area is going to 3:4:1 ratio. Can you just explain that shows the resulting of an increase of the overall size of the BVW to 270 square feet? Just not into details,
Sure.
just I'm explaining that we're not doing this because we're getting this.
Right.
It's better.
Better overall. We do need a 75% survival rate to
Yep.
meet the standards, so we always oversize in general. The goal is to get 100%. You're not going to get it, but that's the goal. You should be getting more back than you lost, and that is because you shouldn't be losing in the first place. So, we go in and we replicate it a larger size. The 3.4 to 1 is really a result of that was the natural area. That's how it worked out. So we did the math and said 3.4. 2 to 1 is a good ratio.
That's what we normally see, it's 2 to 1. That's why I was impressed. So,
So it's just, like kind of the way it fits, why stop.
no, that's perfect. I appreciate that explanation. Page 38, can you just confirm what the total acreage of limits of work is?
38 in the PDF browser, right?
Yeah, I just went right on the PDF, sorry.
No, that's fine. Is that on the form? Or is that in the narrative?
I think it's in the narrative. Hold on, I'll get to page 38 and tell you what it really is. I just did that to be confusing for you now. Let's see.
I believe it's just over here because we are required a slip to be developed.
I thought it was 0.77. Anything over an acre requires a SWIP, and you said in there you weren't doing a SWIP.
We didn't do it, but I believe it's in the construction contract, and the contractor developed it. I think we checked the box and said it would be provided prior to
Yes.
construction.
Good. That's why I was asking about the proposed limits.
Yep.
Perfect. I was gonna ask for a SWIP anyways, even if it was 0.77, but obviously, nope, that's again, just one note. We don't want any exceptions on the New England wetlands mix. People always try to say, but I can buy this wherever they claim they can buy it. It never grows. We've dealt with it at the middle school. Make sure that we definitely, if they submit on it, it doesn't, then they change it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be coming out if they don't, if they submit and change on us. On the fence height, the bottom guard, it's on 51, but it's on the detail of one of the drawings.
Yep.
At one point, I thought we talked about the bottom guardrail, how far off the ground it will be for wildlife and critters, but the detail is missing on this drawing. It's the fence drawing note 3, or right above note 3. And also that mentions a fabric. I don't remember seeing that before. Can I go down? So you got it right there? Yeah, what page is that?
Well, I'm making sure this.
That's it.
Okay, C201.
I thought at one point you had showed us. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I thought the bottom rail was gonna be up higher.
It is.
Is it on there though?
I don't see it. No, it is actually. It says 6 inches. It's not very fine. It says 6 inches, the the section that's got the crossbar going across it.
Yeah, I know, but what about the rest of the fence?
Well, it's level from there, so the implication would be.
Okay,
Set
yep.
up 6 inches. The fabric is just the old school notation to the actual mesh, chain link mesh. It doesn't
Okay,
actually, doesn't mean like a,
I was worried about someone's got like a windsock
No.
type,
no,
okay, maybe we strike it, I don't know.
we can.
This is more of a question than anything. On page 52, you have the trail sign, shows a person. I'm gonna refer to Norman on this one. Should it be a bike and a person? Because if I'm a kid and I go, oh, I can, if I'm on my bike, I can get off the trail. Is-
It's do that. There's no standard sign.
I know.
PCR kind of hiking sign, you know,
If I'm a kid and I see that, it says, oh, I gotta stay on the trail if I'm walking, but if I'm on my mountain bike, I can go off. Is that ridiculous or, I don't know. Norman, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
More of a question observation than anything, but,
no, I mean, you could condition it that way, and this hasn't been given to anybody the price yet, so.
or maybe we put them side by side, like in the same, I don't know.
Could add a bike kind of to the stack.
Kids they all think they're engineers and lawyers, so. Page 53, I don't know what it is on that one, but it says, it talks about, waste management. Who's gonna actually get out there from the city and change these buckets? And where the location's gonna be?
So the dog waste, we're putting the dog waste, sorry.
They do that already. Every Friday you go through the trail, change the dog station, so it's rubbish.
Okay,
So I'm sure that's gonna be added to it.
okay, where are the locations?
So we're putting a dog waste station right at Crystal Lake Drive, right, kind of when you come onto the trail at the start. That's the one we're proposing. I mean, if you
So
want.
here's the thing, do you have a dog?
I do.
Do you wanna carry that the whole way? Is your dog gonna go to the bathroom when you first get there? I mean, you're halfway through.
I get that.
Yeah, well,
I get that.
I don't know.
We can easily put.
I'm just, again, let's just make sure we're put it in the right spot, and that's why I was asking if we're gonna be out there, someone's not gonna walk a mile in to get,
Actually, she
The
had
unfortunate thing is people don't adhere to the rules.
yeah.
They go out there, they use the doggy bag, and they leave it there. So they think we're gonna pick it up.
Yeah,
Okay. So how do you correct that?
yeah.
Maybe we need a trail guide.
Well,
sign.
I think it's more locations to drop them because nobody wants to carry it once the dog's done.
That's what I just said. One on one and one on the other.
Well, they do have that now, so I'm sure.
Maybe you can easily drop one in on the other side.
I don't know,
Just, yeah.
It's only for one end.
I just added.
It's only for one end right now.
it's only on one side.
It's only on one side.
There's one at Park Street side where the parking lot is.
There's one over there. Yeah.
And there's one at the Crystal Lake entrance.
Yeah, but if you keep going, there's nothing. If you keep going, there's no more.
No, well,
We're just saying at the other end of it, you can put one.
I don't, maybe get a cost for it, and if it's like a change event, and see what we can do. Can you confirm the total pathway, what the length is? Is it 1650 or approximate?
Approximately. Yeah, 1650 approximately, just over.
I thought I saw somewhere else it was a little longer, so I'm just more curious.
The profile goes to about 1700, but it's like
That's
8
probably,
feet in on the other side. So
Yeah.
it's-
and then you already explained this, and I appreciate you doing this. It's the standard number 4 quality, the credit number 3. So that was one of my questions. Thank you.
Yep.
And then the next one is literally a SWIP. On trash and pet pickup. Do they have lids? Like, what you're proposing?
Well, that's what they did.
Oh, that's
They're
why
not
I'm
filled with
asking.
water. Sit down.
'Cause I don't know, do the ones out there now have lids?
they have them, yeah.
It's got a hinge cover.
Awesome.
Standard detail, yeah.
And then on page 109, and I think that's the stormwater, it says rainfall greater than a ½ inch kicks in additional requirements. Can you just kind of talk about that? I'm gonna look on here and see what drawing, where that,
In general, talk about it, but what is it?
hold on, I'm gonna try to find it. Hold on. In the maintenance, I think?
Oh, the maintenance section. Oh, Is it in the, like, where we listed out the different
Yeah.
features? Term prevention plan. Sorry, actually, not that, the water management system. So, okay, so under walkway and graded shoulders, we listed those as a component.
Yeah.
Thing, we say at spring, sorry, biannually in the spring and fall. Someone presumably DPW needs to go on a trail, make sure things are in good condition. We add in as special inspection events, spring snow melt and rainfall greater than half an inch. So if you get a heavy snow,
That's why, I mean, who's gonna really do that?
Half an inch.
First, who's gonna see if we have a half inch, is how it does.
that's not, it's like, what's a half inch? Practically speaking, unless you got a rain gauge out and you don't look at it.
That was my next thing, where's this rain gauge and who's monitoring
Send
it?
it to DPW, they have to go, rain happened and send out whoever, go check them all. I guarantee you that this wouldn't be the only system in the city for this type of a thing. No.
Right, but now we're at the point where this is our drinking water and.
Yep.
How do we, is half inch, I mean, is that real? How many half inch storms do we get? And should it be an inch or 3/4 or?
So under,
Oh, and half, like, an inch and a quarter the other day.
That's what I'm saying.
so under the stone infiltration trench, it does go back to say 2-year return frequency.
I know, but right now we're not gonna be in compliance if we get a half inch storm and nobody checks it and then somebody's gonna walk out there and see a big washout.
Yeah.
And then on these forms, who's gonna complete these forms once you guys are gone?
This would be whoever at DPW is doing the maintenance.
I know, but you know what happens?
I know exactly.
I'm not even gonna say it. So should we change that in your opinion?
I've seen these written before also where it's like in the first year, you're doing that because you're worried things aren't stable.
It doesn't really say that though.
It doesn't, no, I'm saying, I've seen it done that way. That might be my recommendation is to say, year one, yeah, let's keep an eye on it, right? It needs to be stable, all that, I mean, you still don't have to get a project at that point too, if there's an issue. After that, and it's generally stable, I think you can get back to your biannual inspection and just say, we'll notice if it happens. Obviously, if something rips through, the region, everybody's on high alert for responding.
But the last thing they're gonna do is worry about that trail.
It's critical when it comes to that, yeah.
Yeah, so can you just make sure we modify, or maybe you modify for record?
We do that.
Okay, great. Yeah, then the next one was the inspector log, who's responsible to do that, because I mean, but I can tell you right now, there's several others out there that city owns, we haven't seen a single report. And then they're wetlands, not drinking water, which to me is just as important, if not more.
Yeah.
So we need to find out who is from Dane is gonna be responsible for this. And when they do fill it out, they gotta give us the completed form within 3 days, 5 days. I mean, within 3 to 5 days. But I think some of that won't be as bad if we modify that half inch.
Yeah. It's frequent.
Next one is the maintenance plan. It says it's about $4,000 in costs. Got it within the budget, somebody's budget, whose budget? Do you see that in there? It was, I don't remember seeing it last
The
time.
monitor.
If I remember right, Dayton has a certain amount of his budget for maintenance of the bike area.
This is an addition too, though. It's another on top of what he already has.
Yeah, maybe Doug, you can forward it up to Dave or to me, I would take just to go advance up the budget for that.
I would say, obviously, just hand it to DPW and they'll say, what the heck, right? But frankly, this gives him justification when he goes to do his budgeting annually to say, well, I have 6 of these things and that's the number that was, like this gives him backup in his process.
Yeah, I just want to make sure somebody has it, because I can tell you,
I agree.
okay, same thing's gonna happen there.
But that's definitely the way to communicate around it, you know what I mean, it's actually the backup to get the resources he needs.
Yep, and then the next one is the material storage area, like project setup. It says National Grid, but did anyone talk to National Grid and get confirmation? I can tell you they did.
We don't have confirmation.
We shouldn't put it in there if we don't have it.
Yeah.
That's if I'm doing this job, that's a change order when you tell me I can't use the font you told me.
Yeah, I mean, it's in here, it's just technically in the construction documents, it's not on the plans shown there.
But it's in here.
It's in here.
It's listed National Grid in a couple different areas.
Yep.
So we should probably modify that. I mean, where else do you think we can put stuff? What about the parking lot right next to the Elks?
Parking lot.
What are you gonna start it?
All the construction anything, it could be, yeah, trailers, it could be materials, it could be hay bales, it could be the wattles.
Yeah.
National Grid's not gonna let the pullets there, right? Let's just be real.
Probably not.
Or what about the parking lot of the cemetery?
There's no parking lot on Park Street.
That's what I was talking about. We should change that because let's just be real with it.
My only concern is that it'd be, you know, the commissioners.
Yeah, well, maybe we designate a spot that they have to. I know it's a little bit farther away, so maybe it is the parking lot of at the cemetery. You know, when you go past it, as soon as you enter the cemetery and the water's here,
Yeah.
there's like that embankment. There could be area right along that curve
There's
there.
that grass.
You know where it's like, I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, up where the shed used to be.
Yeah,
Where the DPW wants to put a crematorium in there, I think it might be grass now, but it's gonna get redeveloped, so.
yeah, someone should just change it.
Talk to Dane and see if he wants to use it.
And, well, we just wanna make sure they have spill kits in all their vehicles out there, because they're gonna be, I mean, everyone says it, I guarantee you. Somebody goes out there and checks, they don't have them, I do it all the time at work, and they always say they go to open it up and it's not there.
Nothing in there, it's not there.
Yeah, and then, while I got you, and thank you, like I said, I had a lot more on you, but you hit them already. Can you just talk about the cost, so everybody hears this, of the low bid, of 375, 697, and the high bid of 648, 650, and we went low bid, right?
It's, has it went up?
Hasn't been awarded yet.
It's the apparent bidders.
Yes.
I will say there's minimal grounds out there thrown out by.
Oh, no, I don't mean that, I mean, but
No,
that's,
so, yeah, you know, so, yeah, you know, we've got essentially a paving contractor out of Southbridge who, you know, meets the qualifications for the job. But they are significantly lower. There's been some conversations to make sure they understand the scope of work and the expectations. They have, you know, reaffirmed that they do.
so you did bid leveling and it came across everything legit. That's a big swing, so I just get concerned.
You know, our,
It's extremely low.
yeah,
It's what, $300,000 to the next bid. Yeah. Here we go again.
our, yeah. No, you know, it's, you do get what you get, but we tabulated the bids, we looked at them, there's nothing imbalanced in there, there's no obvious signs that they're, you know, think they're on something.
Yeah,
And speaking to them, they're trying to make a name for themselves, and they know they knew they came in well on this. And actually, talking to their estimator, the owner drove them down an extra like 30 grand, 2 minutes before the bid, because it's how much you wanted it, so.
so what is the process for change orders or change events gonna be for this low bidder? Who evaluates them, who reviews them, who approves them?
We evaluate them.
Can you copy us on the commission on them?
Trevor is my boss.
I mean,
Before they're approved?
Doug will be
Definitely.
involved in the process.
Okay, just like you did with this stuff, you know, I mean,
If it's related to, you know, replication, you know.
well, the whole thing's related to conservation, so any change order.
It is very sensitive. Yeah, we can, you know,
I mean, I see a $200,000 swing in construction other than low bid. It's not even reviewed as a bid level.
this is a private job.
I know, yeah. Okay, thank you for answering those. I mean, specifically that credit. That I thought that was gonna be something that the public should be aware of.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
All right, hold on. Anybody else in the commission have anything else?
Yeah, I do.
Go ahead.
So we're stuck with a little bit.
Yes. I mean, I'm not gonna say that, I'm on the record, I can't say yes, the city has not made their decision yet, is the answer I have to give you.
If you have time later on this week, Doug can show you, they did the due diligence, that's what I would.
I'm fine, you know, but it's still $200,000 less than the other guys. And one, I mean, you know, are they?
Like 150.
It's 197,
From the,
the low bid to the next one.
there's a 376, but it's 370 something.
No, it's 376, the next one's 572. Got it right here.
That's another six.
Okay,
Yeah,
that was 520.
it's 572, it's $197,000 swing.
And there's a third bid.
That is at 648, 560. So traditionally in construction, when you got somebody that high, cause he's almost $100,000 higher than the next guy,
Yeah,
that means I don't want it. If I do, because I can't manage it, I'm gonna throw a lot of money at it, cause I gotta pay up to get people to do it.
So the OPC, Mr. Chairman, on it was 500.
534, 800. So that's what we carry as a total budget.
Yep.
But I don't wanna do is spend that because I mean, that 534 is right at the 572. Understood. That's the one. Oh, you definitely, and you did this, I can tell you did it, so, thank you. Anybody else have anything else in the commission? Anybody in the audience? Go ahead. Your station name, please?
David, member of the North Central Pathway. With the change orders, will the low bid increase? Will they be changing their bid as a result of that?
So he'll get a bite of the apple for the changes we discussed, like the stone trench, battery stations, and the plantings. And that will increase, you know, that'll increase the bid, but that will, you know, the first step is that they still need to get their bonds and insurance approved so that they can actually be awarded a contract. They have to meet contract requirements for purchasing offers. Once all that's done, then we can engage them about a field change order on it.
I was just curious because with the other bidders have an opportunity now.
No, we bid a scope of work. We have to award based on that scope of work. Then we can manage the changes that DPP is trying to impose on this process.
So you have to treat that revision as a change order to the contract documents, even though they haven't been awarded yet?
Otherwise, they'd have to re-advertise it.
What do you think those costs are?
that was my next question.
I'm asking because I hate people ask me to do this, but I mean, percentage wise, because like you can't give a number. Percentage wise, is it 10%?
All the trees we're calling for, it's like 10%. It's on the low end, it's 5% though. You know, it really depends on things like nursery stock and stuff like that. So,
Okay, that was a good question. Go ahead.
Now, the other thing is because the state did a last minute change, do you have to wait another 20 days before you can start construction?
my understanding is there's a new appeal period, but you know, given where we are with the contracting process, I think it's 20 days anyway to get everything signed. So, you know, I think the focus shifts to advancing the contracting process. I think you know, whoever the award bidder is, and I think things are gonna dovetail together pretty good from a schedule standpoint.
When do you anticipate they'll be starting?
They're eager. How many times have they run your phone?
And there's
That's
that's
what it works.
yeah. Who's gonna be the project manager? You're the project monitor. Who's gonna be the project manager
I'm the project manager.
for the whole job, for the duration of the project?
Yeah.
That's a change from what we originally talked about?
I don't think so. I think that,
Because originally Trevor said he was the project manager on the job.
oh, well, okay.
So I guess
We're
I'm trying,
mixing terms. He's the owner. He is the project manager.
Doug is.
well, when it was,
Doug, city representative.
hold on. You said, I looked at you and you sat right there and you said, I am the project manager. Doug is not the project manager. It's on record, so we can pull it back up. I'm trying to qualify.
I'm not.
You sat right there next to Tyrell and said, I am the project manager.
I'm not managing the project. Doug is managing. the
Yeah, but
project.
he's not. He's a conservation
He's a
agent.
department.
He's not the full project manager. I guess that's
I
the,
think I'm a department, and I determine who the project manager is.
we could take it offline.
He doesn't have the.
That's not what, it's not.
Now, why are you doing it? No, well,
No, I mean,
That's his job.
it's not his
no,
job.
it's not his job.
His job's to oversee conservation. Yeah, but
He's
he's
not
not.
an engineer.
I don't know that. I think we're definitely, yeah, let's talk about it and figure it out.
But we need to just.
And makes me.
Yeah, I think we're just trying to have the right person in the position, that's all. That's all I'm trying to
You're
do.
trying to save somebody, and I don't blame you.
Yeah, I don't think it's a money thing, it's time.
It's part of his job to manage projects, not project.
I think,
The engineer is overseeing the construction from a technical aspect. Doug is the one that manages all the invoice processing through the department.
He's
That
not qualified.
contractors.
yeah, but he's not,
Submit to the engineer approves it.
but he's not good, that's not what his job is on this one. That's a city project, this is something different. He doesn't go out there and monitor costs of the school. Did he? No, he
It's a
didn't.
school project. It's not being run through the department of community health.
It's running through the city though. I just don't believe that's a position we should be putting him in. He oversees contractors doing the work through an engineer, and that's why I was asking who the project manager was. I think this requires further discussion then.
You know, I do too.
I'm not opposed to any of the project, I think it's more clerical. So let's just make sure that we're clear here.
And to be clear, we're taking construction, so
Yeah, so how many hours a week are you gonna be on the project?
on site,
On the project?
on the project, I mean, construction job is moving pretty quick. Me personally,
Oh, not you personally, but some, you know,
probably a couple days, time, so it's
so you're contracted for 2 days a week throughout the duration?
contracted for a month, it'll fluctuate based on what's going on up there.
Yeah, billable hours,
Yeah.
as such, those are allotment of money, and you're gonna hit that.
We will manage based on what they're doing. There's certain things we need to see, there's certain things that we can, somebody can stop by.
Yeah, I'm just trying to clarify, and then your bid assessment, this is more, again, back to what we're talking about, who the project manager is and how that's gonna be handled. Is that bid evaluation gonna turn into your SOV?
No, they're submitted, it's a unit price, so they're submitted unit prices, I guess.
Okay, I thought you were gonna maybe potentially turn in that line item,
It'll be some. Bidders.
okay. Okay,
So we
good,
use the EJCDC forms. So we
Yep.
have the developer necessarily based on their bid prices for that format. We don't have to pay their cover sheet on it, but we'll make them submit the backup sheets every month.
schedule values we're talking about, SOV, schedule value. Okay, I was just thinking that might be helpful for everybody.
If they need that type of document, it's on them to meet the standards of the contract, give them a spreadsheet like that, it just makes my life a heck of a lot easier. So
So the invoices would come through to you, or would they come to the project manager that,
they'll be submitted probably to me and a copy to the city, or the city representatives. We'll evaluate each pay record, go back and forth, quantities that, we are concerned about or not. And then we'll endorse it, then it goes to the city for signature.
what are the? Is that what the budget is approved from the state, that's what we're going for, the 534?
There's a grant, there's a match.
Is that what we're,
I'm sorry,
the 534, so the budget was, the low bid was 375, but you carried 534 as a number.
we put in, I forget, I don't think it's, the grant's like 400K, there's a match on top of that, something like that.
So-
Match is city.
Grant's fine,
Okay,
we have a match,
okay.
like 220.
So I guess what I'm saying is if the three, they're at 375, we went in for 500, is there room for additional improvements as you go, or an extension past where we're going? If there's $100,000 left, can we extend it another 800 feet?
So that's something.
I'm just saying while we're all there.
Well, what we'll probably be looking at, Mr. Chairman, is upgrading Crystal Lake Drive to the extent possible.
Yeah,
And then also continuing more design on the extension.
the next
To
part.
what the way at, because we're only at like 25%. So we still need significant funding to finish that design, so that's probably where
Yeah,
any additional money will go to.
I'm just saying, we're already there. They're already mowed, everything's already in place.
But we gotta figure that one out once the project's done, so again, it's
Once it gets projected,
yeah.
there are discussions that could happen. But I don't like the happen too early.
Yeah,
There's no utilities here, so that's an advantage, that's pretty.
Yeah, that's where you get crushed.
But, you still want to get to that point where you're projected on the budget for the job, so.
Go ahead.
I just had an overall question, just for clarity. You don't have a crystal ball, but based on the DEP comments, or are there anything in there that make it turn around and say it's kind of a deal breaker, like the cutting of trees and stuff? Is that, that's the only thing that?
They didn't study that, they didn't really get into that, they were.
They did out a couple of good ones they wanted to save, like
There
some
were.
like 30 diameter, like
Yeah.
red oak, stuff like that.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that, I mean, we could say, yeah, and everybody, oh, what?
No, they pointed out some good ones.
Okay,
The language they used was very non-committal, but we would be inclined.
Yeah.
Based on what you provided us to withstand our appeals. Just you said cutting, one thing that, it's in the overland plan now. But that landscaper was manicuring the down gradient side, and they want that to see.
Yeah.
which is kind of largely an enforcement issue, quite frankly, it's not. But we still put it in our own minimum so that, you know, the city essentially knows they're not to go down there.
Yeah. It's gonna rework.
And frankly, there was like a pine tree that was cut off, like, you know, at rest height, it was that. I think that's why they went exploring down there more, because you could see that from the trail. So.
When those other paths are gonna be blocked by that fence
Blocking the
anyway,
fence, yeah, and then he wants to kind of like rough them up and,
right,
you know,
so that you don't notice them anymore.
So we're getting ready to bring this into a vote. Do we need to modify what our previous requirements and conditions are?
I would keep them, I would add anything that you discussed tonight, because you do have that opportunity. I mean, I would issue, no, I'm requesting an amended order condition.
Right.
You would have your order, and if you want to, you know, my documents are amended, those get attached, and then if you have the opportunity to say the couple of things we talked about, yeah, I don't want to sweat the guy, you know.
But you already have it though.
Yeah.
I mean, in the construction. You have a list of. I definitely think there's a learning experience for all of us. Yeah,
So it's gonna be a new document, it's gonna say amended order conditions, it's gonna be the same plus.
okay. Do you have a list of the old one, or what our local conditions were? But thank you for guiding us through this, because with the learning experience for all, we were just trying to say how long it's been
Experience for me. Yeah.
since we've had this, and we've had it. Did you ever remember, or anybody else has been longer than us?
No, no. Yeah, so what's the duration of the project?
I'm gonna say it should be a 3-month project, that's what I'm gonna say.
Will it push the forward with the changes? You wanna just? I don't know why we would change anything. Because the changes that we would put in our conditions, he's already got,
Yeah. And that's,
and it hasn't, I mean. Yeah. You get second to talk about it.
I've been at the end of it.
Additional conditions during construction, spill kits are on site, recon meetings. Access shall be provided to construction management software to the Conservation Commission Pro 4, whatever you're gonna use, scheduling milestone dates, qualified staff, which you did fix that already. But he's gonna do that on his.
I mean, for the
Yeah, he's gonna modify it from that.
national grid.
Yeah, right, Alex, you're gonna change
Yeah,
that?
I'll tweak the actual, I mean, we can tweak this too, but I'll tweak the actual plan.
Yeah, normally what they,
Changes.
sorry, didn't even catch that, but normally what they'll do, the contractor will come and do a logistics plan.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna say they want it over there, and they're gonna go to where Trevor said, you know, the better idea. And then next one is, updates regarding the status of the wetlands replication, so we should probably can get rid of that, correct?
Yeah, one time, sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. Updates regarding the status of the wetlands replication area. Because we had it on there of updates from June 30th and December 31st. Did we need that still?
Well, I responded to DEP that you essentially had that condition.
Okay, so we'll leave it in
You
there.
can leave it.
Removal and abatement of the invasive species, which we got. Right?
Yep, that's in there.
Yeah, stockpiles of material on site shall be secured with appropriate BMPs, which that's pretty standard. Silt fence, yeah, we have on here as no straw.
When the trail comes out and meets the railroad bed.
Yeah.
Are you gonna put fence so the people can't come down from the fall from the?
No, it's National Grid uses that operation.
Oh, right, yeah.
You can't cut that off. I can't cut off, you know, I can't bisect the power corridor, and I can't bisect the railroad corridor. The
Yeah.
grid comes up and down.
Anybody else have any other questions, comments?
I would like to, are we gonna vote on anything?
That's what we're getting ready
Okay,
for.
let's vote first.
Someone like to make a motion to approve the revised NOI, keeping the same order of conditions as previous.
I do, I so move.
Someone like to second that?
Second.
All in favor? Opposed, no one? Thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll get this signed up.
Yeah, I
And,
want to get back to that, project management for a point.
Is there any restriction saying who can't be a project?
Well, it's a matter of responsibilities and what he's gonna, if he's the project manager, who's he gonna go back to if there's a problem?
Okay. Are there requirements saying who can be?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know the answer.
Now, I don't know what your workload is, but do you want to be a project manager?
Sure, I'm not.
What's that?
The work.
Kind of a conflict of interest a little bit too.
I'm trying, but you wanted to be project manager? Is that what it says?
So when you say project manager, I'm not sure what it is.
That's why I'm saying let's take it up offline, because I think we're both on the same page. here. We're-
Representing this department overseeing that project. Now, we have from a technical standpoint, the project management is being done by hiring,
Correct.
they're not hired engineer, they're
Yeah.
not hired consultant. All Doug's been doing is going on a site, because he's gonna have to do that anyways, to oversee what they're doing from the conservation standpoint. I think it's a perfect.
But when I think of project manager, I think who's running the project meetings, reviewing all the documents, all that stuff.
So that's gonna be the engineer, the consultant.
That's you.
Doug's gonna be processing the invoices after they're approved by our engineer at the local end, so we can, so our finance person will cut the checks and issue payments.
See, I don't know.
Doug's just overseeing it from there.
Yeah, but I don't know if he should be reviewing costs.
It's not, he is.
I thought
He's
you
just,
said he was.
no, he is. He's just processing the invoices internally.
Why would you do that?
Because I have other projects that I.
Yeah, but I don't know if I want him processing finances. It's not probably so.
This part of the job.
Let's look at the job description.
Okay.
Let's look at it. Seriously, maybe I'm wrong. Let's look at it. Do you have a copy?
Every one of our, I'm not gonna pull it out right now, but we can, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
So every one of our employees in the department oversees projects and manages projects. That's the nature of the job.
let's just look at a job
The
description.
economic development, the assistant director, the conservation planning agent, the director, myself.
Yeah.
We're all responsible for overseeing specific projects
Okay,
associated with grants in our department. I can't do.
I'm not,
That's one of the biggest problems in the department.
yeah. That's a whole other
Three
topic.
staff for-
Yeah,
I'm training 3 new people again, it's the second time in 3 years. And everything gets put on me.
I'm
So
sorry.
I need people that can come in and do that type of job.
Let's just send me the description if we have it. So we make sure we cover it.
It's the nature of the job.
Just send it to me. That's fine. That's fine. And we'll
Doug,
cover
Doug, go to any other conservation meeting that.
Well, so final call.
Oh, sorry.
It's your call.
Well, it's not. It's our call as the commission.
Well, as the director of community development planning, I determine what the staff does in my department.
I have a question or maybe a comment. I mean, playing devil's advocate, there could be a situation where it is a conflict of interest. As a conservation agent on a project dealing with water and cost and things that maybe someone else wants that he's then gonna be it could be in an awkward position. I'm just throwing that potential out there that you can't eliminate that from discussion.
And if that's the case, I'll be more than happy to step in.
But you know what I'm saying? Like,
Doug's clearing my catch, yeah, we're constantly in contact. on a daily
because you don't want that to be the perception either.
Well, we have to vote on this,
No, we're already past. Everything's, this is more,
but I mean, for the agent.
no, we're just, more just clerical stuff. It's, everything's passed. It's going, it's moving. It's just, we gotta just make sure everything's covered.
Oh, you're gonna make a decision?
Well, he's gonna send me the job description and it'll be done. If it's on there, then it's done. It's a special.
So Doug works in the community development, my direction. I determine what Doug's workload is on a day-to-day basis. I determine what Doug's responsibilities are within the department. Doug reports to me. I report to the mayor.
Yeah.
That's the chain of command.
Okay.
Somebody to make the motion to end tonight's hearing?
I like that motion.
Somebody to second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Not to jinx it.